It's all treats and no tricks on the show today. And it is a treat to welcome Dave Mann from the Hope Project to the show. Dave, kia ora, good morning. Thanks for your time today.
Hi, kia ora.
I got told off for saying Happy Halloween to somebody earlier on, so I won't make that mistake again. When it comes to Halloween, though, it is a tricky one for the churches. And part of the problem, I think, is that people don't understand the origin of it, or they've perhaps Googled something and come up with something which may or may not be the full story. Some people say, oh, gosh, this is all evil. It's a pagan thing. It's about witches celebrating resurrection in some twisted way. But actually, there's Christian roots to this. Is that right?
Yeah, the word Halloween is actually Christian. It's a Christian festival. To give the history of it, its roots go back to, it was a Celtic, that's English and Irish festival,
Yep.
Which correctly pronounced was Samhain, though it's got funny spelling.
Yep.
And it was a pagan religious festival to welcome the harvest at the end of summer. Celebrating the harvest, but also the Druids were scared that the demons and the ghosts came up from the earth as it became winter.
Wow.
Because if you think about it, winter is dark.
Yep.
And also in an agricultural society with no welfare system, you might run out of food and starve.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to survive the evil and the risk of a cold, dark winter? They wanted the evil spirits and the ghosts in the ground. So it was a 3-day to 1 month long festival in November. But what happened is that Christianity came to England and then Ireland in the 5th century, St. Patrick. And within a couple of years, it's like people who aren't Christians who still celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
They still had the Samhain festival as a cultural festival, but they had become Christianized as a culture. So it was Pope Gregory III who said, let's change this into All Hallows Day, or also named All Saints Day, 1st of November, to remember the saints of old and to celebrate them, to give it alternative meaning. And of course, the eve of All Hallows Day is Hallows Eve, which is where the name Halloween comes from. So Halloween kind of then sort of went into obscurity in the wider world until the potato famine of the mid-1800s in Ireland, which spanned about 7 years, and a whole lot of Irish, literally struggling for food, hopped on ships and moved to the Americas, to the port cities, which became a melting pot of cultural ideas. And in that environment, the fires turned into sort of jack-o'-lanterns, somehow trick-or-treating began, but then commercialism is what made Halloween the cultural festival it is in America. Yeah. It's one of the biggest marketing weekends, billions of dollars of profit, and Halloween has nothing whatsoever to do with New Zealand culture or history, except that the big shopping chains like Warehouse and Kmart have likely looked at it and seen a money-making opportunity and have created all the costumes. And so it's really being revived not as a cultural move. It's not for a cultural reason. It's not a spiritual reason. I think it's purely a money reason. Yeah. But of course, it plays into a fascination with evil. And that's where it's coming back into our culture from.
And that is, I think, very much a stumbling block for people of faith, because it does celebrate, witches and ghouls and those sorts of things. Some people would say, well, this isn't appropriate. This is something we should have nothing to do with as people of faith, as people of Christianity. We should be opposed to it. But honestly, there's quite a few things that Christians are known to be against. Is there a way which we can lean in on this one, Dave, as we have, you and I often talk about, redeeming these cultural festivals and celebrating Jesus through them? Is there a way that we can do that with All Hallows Eve, or is that a bridge too far in your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, Halloween itself, All Hallows Eve, is about celebrating the saints of old who are followers of Christ who defeated evil. Yeah. So there is a story and a meaning there around the name Halloween that's actually good. I mean, as a celebration of evil, I personally don't like it. It's not something I would ever have for my own children. Yep. Getting them to glorify demons and skeletons and ghosts. I also don't think that that's healthy for a culture. To breed amongst children as well. Michael and our team just passed me a little blog thing written by Jay Johns, and to summarize it in 2 simple sentences, he says, Halloween deceives and distracts us about evil, and it denies the defeat of evil. Yeah. And I'd agree with that. But yeah, the question then becomes, how do we, instead of being moaners and complainers, how do we bring an opportunity into this? How do we lean in? And that's where, like with all outreach, creativity is needed. I mean, what is an opportunity? Some people look at pallets by the side of the road and think they just need burning. I look at them and I see tree huts. My friend sees a beautiful fence with a garden,
Wow.
and I watched a video a couple of nights ago where someone built an insulated hut for a snowy area, all painted with a fireplace, bed, and tables, 100% out of pallet wood. Opportunity is our ability to say, God, give me creativity, and to make something out of it. We need that creativity.
Now, different people will land in different places, and certainly in terms of the text that we're getting on this and the conversation on Facebook, for some people, they say, you know what, I'm not going anywhere near this. I'm drawing the line a long way from this. This isn't something I'm comfortable about. I'm going to put a sign on my door. I'm going to lock the door. I'm going to pray for the children in the community, but I'm not going to participate. For other churches, though, they might say, hey, we're throwing a party. We're going to get in bouncy castles and give away popcorn and sausages. We're not going to celebrate Halloween, but we're going to celebrate what it means to be part of a community and offer a safe alternative to children who may be trick or treating. Is there room for both, do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I absolutely do. Because I think if we haven't got creativity from God as to how to lean in to make it an opportunity, we're wisest just to stay well away from it.
Yeah.
So I would actually applaud the staying away from it, because the celebrating of evil is not for us.
Yeah.
It's not good for a society. But to lean in, I mean, light parties are, to me, the obvious idea to go across the nation. They started maybe 10 years ago. They've spread far and wide. Whakatane was one of the communities to first do them at scale as a combined church event, attracting as many as 5,000 people in the community. They actually stopped doing them a few years ago, but this year have restarted. For our church, we advertise it's a superheroes occasion.
Okay.
Let's celebrate superheroes. The advertising says no scary costumes, please. You'll always have some kids who turn up with them. You just turn a blind eye. I mean, the program is really easy. Buy a few $100s of lollies, create simple games around your church auditorium and hall, put on a sausage sizzle to sell sausages and cans of drink and these sorts of things. But then as a church, I don't think it's an occasion to preach the gospel. It doesn't fit the meaning of the season.
Yep.
Certainly to say All Hallows Day, Hallows Eve, is the eve of remembering the saints of old, because freedom and light came to a culture that was scared of darkness, because that's in the history. So there's that story. But I would say for our church, we'll have about 3,000 people through the church this evening from the community. Easy to promote to the school, letterbox drop, community notice board. People come. Mainly music, finding the young mums with the prams. We've got a Sunday school. We've got other kids programs. There can be kids camps. We have a church-based scouts group, so they'll be there in their uniforms.
Yep.
From the front, you can say, look, we've got marriage courses. We've got pre-marriage courses. There's parenting courses. It's an opportunity to connect in a community and say, we care for families, and we believe in bringing the good, not the bad. And we believe your family and your marriage can be fantastic. Hey, parents, do the best that you can. Make this a great community. And I think that's a way to lean in positively. It might not be the gospel itself, but it's an amazing bridge.
It's something that I'm actually been involved with a few years at the local church that I attend, and it's very much a part of the community. It just sits on the corner of a suburban neighbourhood. And it's actually a bunch of fun. But one of the things that's happened is that there's some neighbours across the road who really are into Halloween. And it's kind of been a little bit of rivalry between the church and the neighbours with the spooky cobwebs and all the pop-up stuff and all of that type of things. I think they're quite cross with us because we seem to be doing a better job of celebrating and having fun, not celebrating the spooky stuff, but having, I don't know, bouncy castles and a fire engine and lots of free food for people. I mean, it's a positive rivalry to have in a community, I think.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not our government that are saying we celebrate Halloween.
Yep.
This isn't a cultural move. This isn't even intended as a spiritual move. This is about money. There are businesses that are making money out of the costumes and they're leveraging it for profits. So so what is our culture? It's whatever people are told it is and they choose to believe.
Yeah.
So does Christ have anything to do with Christmas? If Christians don't keep the Christ in Christmas, no one else will. The answer is only yes if Christians choose to take initiative. Is Halloween a celebration of evil, or is it a cultural festival Pope Gregory III started to celebrate the saints of old who defeated evil? Right? Christians can actually make something out of this. We can choose to lean in. And whoever's the loudest will define the public perspective. And so I would just encourage light parties like your church, with a different name, but the same kind of ideas.
Yep.
If we have these in every community, parents will come to love the churches who are generous and open-handed, who don't preach at us, who run great things for kids and run lots of programs to support children and marriages. And I mean, I see that it can be an opportunity, even while fully appreciating we don't want to see the evil stuff glorified. And that's maybe our point for speaking up.
Dave, thank you for being the balanced voice of reason on this contentious topic. And I do hope that, hey, I'm not going to wish you happy Halloween. I got in a lot of trouble for that earlier, but I am going to wish you a wonderful evening and a wonderful opportunity for churches to engage with our communities. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, and happy All Saints Day to you.